Hello and welcome to Bonk Table. I'm Mass in the Conquest Battle Report. I went to a tournament. It was fun. This is after Heos? Yeah. this is all new stuff. So Heos is over. I don't have to deal with that anymore. And I was like, wow, I want to play something fun and stupid and dumb. And you know what that means? 7 Jotnar. We're playing 7 Jotnar. So by the time of recording, I should have the practice game for this list out, so you'll have an idea what that is. But we're gonna go through my list again. I'm gonna talk about it again. At this tournament, I played 3 rounds. Sadly, you will not be seeing the second round. Why is that? It's really simple. My opponent asked me not to post on the internet, and I was like, yeah, sure. When I do these games, when I'm playing against my opponent, if they request, hey, you know, you don't put this up there, I'm like, yeah, no problem. You know, respect the people you're playing against and have a good time with them. It's a friendly game. You want to cooperate with yourself and your opponent, because at the end of the day, the goal is to have fun. The objective is to win. So I'm not really gonna like talk super much about that game. One of the other big reasons is this is over a month old. I should have recorded this a long time ago. Just how scheduling works, I would went down to Calgary, played, got back home super late, and then the next day I had to get on my flight to work, so didn't really have much time. And then came home the next time, got into a bunch of stuff, and then had to instead of driving to Calgary for the next event, and that'll be, you know, the next battle report where I played Dweghome, I flew, came home, and, you know, was like spending time with the friends and family, and then, you know, once got on the plane, went back to work. So we're doing it now. Got some time. Let's get these battle reports. People want to see more 7 Jotnar, want to know more Nords, people like that. And let's get into the list. Here we go. So I called the list Accumulating Mass. Talking to a bunch of the guys in the Bonk Table Discord, they were like, hey, you should make a dumb name for these type of lists. And I kind of ended up on this one because it's just really funny. Like, it's 7 Jotnar. So once again, it is the original list from the last time I played it. We have Jotnar Seidr, who is the spear. We got 2 of those with double mountain Jotnar. And then we have a shaman with raiders, sea Jotnar, and then another shaman and another raiders. So you got 4 mountains, double Seidr, 1 sea, so that's 7 Jotnar. We got it, we're good. 2 shamans, one of them is the warlord, and then double raiders. Raiders do not have captains. They can no longer score if they did have captains, so just give 1+1 resolve. So it's really just to get kind of more card activation and some early presence so you don't get blocked out so early. You have 4 mediums. The mountain Jotnar is really just like a good beat stick. He's pretty decent defensively. He's got a little bit more health than you would see on an MSU for the same like stat line, and he does decent enough damage. Like he's got 12 attacks, so he's basically doing 1 less attack than an MSU because the leader. He's got decent damage with the Cleave 2 and the Terrifying 1, so he's doing decent damage there. And the big thing really is that he's D3, R3 with Harden 1. If he's on a zone and there's a Seidr nearby, he's going to have Fearless, so that's going to keep him alive a little longer. And he's just going to, you know, get into that fight. You kind of want to hit people with the Mountain Jotnars or trade a Mountain Jotnar to get a better engagement with something else. They're kind of your damage guys and kind of your generalists in the list. Your big damage guy is actually going to be the sea Jotnar with the Fiend Hunter, the you know, free volley action during your activation. So you just, you know, it's not a free additional. So you just free throw the anchor. You only get it once. So usually you'll like double move to get in range, throw the anchor 8 inches, or you'll like charge, clash, throw into the back line, or throw to finish it off. Fiend Hunter kicks in, so you're re-rolling the anchor, you're re-rolling the impact, you're re-rolling the clash into any brutes or monsters. Lots of brutes and monsters going around in the meta currently. Jotnar's got a nice little spot. I like him, I love him. If you wanted to make this guy better, I don't know, drop him a couple points, drop him to a medium. There's a lot of other scary things that are medium that I'm like, why the fuck are you a medium in the game? That's just my personal opinion. We're not going to get into that. But yeah. Seidrs, they provide a bunch of stuff. As I mentioned before, Fearless on the zone if you're a Jotnar. They also give, what is it? Crushing Avalanche. What is, while you're within 10, when you declare a charge within 10, you get Brutal Impact +1 and +2 impacts. That also works on him because he is a Titan. So So he will go from impact, or is it 6 to 8? He'll go from, and then have brutal 1. Same with all the mountain Jotnar. So just extra damage, keeps them going. All these guys have spears, and that's simply just to lock down zones, you know, unyielding. Enemy rangers cannot see zones that are in range. The Seidrs do count as 6 stands while on a zone, what is quite a bit, but there are times where, like, with Old Dominion and the, the draw event on the Legionaries, they can go up to 5 very quick, and then you can, like, throw something else on there, and maybe, you know, throw 2 units of Legionaries, and you got plenty of stands to out-contest them. So, even though they count as 6 while they're on, you know, I think just regularly, it's somewhere in here, the spear just shuts that down completely, and you don't have to deal with it. And also, the Seidr just has to tow the zone. He doesn't have his full base on there, so that's what's kind of going on here. One of the big strengths of the Monster Mash style list is your force concentration. You're going to see, because I'm only showing you guys 2 games from this event, you're going to see 1 game there I use it improperly, and I'll talk about that when we get there. And you'll see a game where I use it properly, and we'll talk about that when we get there. The big thing is that you kind of want to play this list in a declined flank. You want to have 5 of your Jotnar on one flank, and then probably a Seidr and a mountain Jotnar on the other flank. And the 2 of them by themselves kind of just hang out, stall out as long as possible, while the other 5 Jotnar do a lot of work. And you'll kind of see me split 1 Shaman and Raider on one side and 1 Shaman and Raider on the other to support and provide cover and all that stuff. And you'll see me, like, sack the Shaman and Raider into stuff because the Jotnar are what's going to do a lot of the work, but you do need that speed bump with the Raiders to kind of help yourself out. And, you know, if the Raiders live for some freaking reason, you got a Shaman there who's going to Hoarfrost stuff. His abilities actually start becoming a little interesting, especially in an all Jotnar list. Blurred Vision allows you to get up on the table because it's going to reduce the range of your enemies. Reshape Destiny is going to give Unstoppable to all regiments within 10 inches of the character stand. This is really nice because none of the Jotnar actually have Unstoppable, so just getting that reroll is going to help you get pinned. What else we got in here? Enrage is broken. Who cares about that? Is it Dominate? Yeah, -1 Resolve. So -1 Resolve tied in with the Terrifying 1. Now they're basically taking Terrified 2. That's going to be really nice on your different Jotnars. Misweave isn't bad because everything's going to be +1 evasion because you're having a Shaman Warlord. All the Raiders are E2, but then being Misweave to some of the Mountain Jotnars so they get up to E2 is going to be nice. Sea Jotnar and the Seidr are already evasion 2, so they don't really care. Yeah. That's kind of list. Not super heavy to talk about, but let's get into the first game. So here's the first game. As you can see, I get both my Shaman and Raiders up the table. We're playing off balance. I think I'm just bad at the scenario, to be honest. I'm not really good with it. We have, let's just go here, like, forest, another forest. I think this is like swamp, hill, and then like a field. Oh, there's, you'll see later on, there's like an instruction over here. You'll get it in like the wider shot when more stuff comes on. So we got, you know, people, not bad. Train's nicely spread out. It's in relative spots. It's going to affect the zone in the battle. My opponent is playing Old Dominion. This is Will, another great, fantastic Canadian player. Will and I have good matches. We showed up. He was tired. I was tired. And we got paired in round 1. And we're like, oh boy, here we go. And then we got to play. So he's running Fallen Divinity. Will loves his Fallen Divinity. There's been times where I've killed it. There's been times where I've not killed it. So we're going to find out if I can do that. You'll find out. And he's playing double cultist, double higher deacon. So he's got 2 higher deacons and 2 units of cultists to farm up dark power as quickly as possible. He's gonna have an Archimandrite that he's gonna be using to like heal up his legionaries as the higher deacons generate dark power by sacrificing sands and also rolling for their spell, their Dark Shepherd spell or whatever it is. And then we got the Fallen Divinity. So right off the bat, he's deploying his units on one side. Probably gonna, I'm not like exactly sure what he's doing when he started doing this. Like he's got the Fallen Divinity, he's making a beeline for this zone. So he's already thinking to take that over. Fallen Divinity probably has a good chance to just kind of hold it out, but he can't just leave it by itself because if I get enough stuff around it, I can kind of kill it and then like sweep across the table. If I do really well. And so it kind of seems like he's putting it there. He has follow-up. He has 2 units of Morai, what he didn't get on. However, that's gonna be fun when that later comes on, to be honest. I'm not super excited. But he's making a beeline already for that zone. And he's got his other 2 units there. He has a nice spot right here to shove like a 4 block of something right there. He's got some good deployments. He's got, you know, space he can go here. He's got go here. But he also has space he can go here and kind of push out. So he's got plenty of room to play around with. As for myself, I've, as you can see, already separated both units of raiders and their shamans. I have 1 unit over on this side to support this flank, what's going to be into the Fallen Divinity, so I'll either have to trade them or use the spell casting as my Jotnar show up. And then I have this other one kind of going for the woods, because I know there's like... is there Curatid? I don't think he had any Curatids. He had some magical shooting, so the woods wasn't really helping me. And so I kind of don't really want my Jotnar in the woods because they'll lose their impact attacks. So I'm like, well, I need to put something there because that's space. I might as well put the raiders there because I don't really care that much if they, you know, don't get their impact attacks. And also it's a nice spot. I can just shove them up the middle and I can put plenty of Jotnar on either side of it and push. That's turn 1. Let's get into turn 2. Here's turn 2. Not doing so great, as you can see. I only got 2 of my mountain Jotnars out of my 4. Not the end of the world. It's probably average, to be honest. However, my opponent he has plenty of stuff, so he's got a unit of Morai coming on, and he's got his Archimandrite and Legionnaires. He's not rolling too well, but I'm kind of happy with, because he's running like a 13-card deck, while I think I'm running an 11. He does move his Fallen Divinity up onto the zone to score it, what's smart on him. He's not being threatened at all, he might as well get that scoring. He keeps both his cultist units back. He has no reason to push them forward or get aggressive with them at all. He wants his stuff to jump over those cultists anyway. So he keeps them back, he keeps generating dark power, and he puts pressure on that zone by just having stuff around that can kind of just like run in when needed. And he just needs to wait because I'm coming in much slower than he is. So he has the tempo advantage right now, which I truthfully don't really like because I don't like giving my opponent tempo. Morai come up here to support the Fallen Divinity. They're going to make a beeline to cover its flanks, make sure stuff is off it, you know, maybe kill the Shaman and Raiders who have just backed up because there's really no reason why not to. Stay out of range of stuff, stay safe. Both Mountain Jotnar kind of run up the table. This is kind of a bad move of mine. This is like a habit and not fully understanding what my opponent's list was. I don't believe there's any guns in his list, just in retrospective. But I still put my Mountain Jotnar in the woods anyway. Shouldn't have done that. There's really no need. The only guns he has is from his spellcasting from the Hierarch and the Archimandrite. So they were protected by the Shaman being in the woods anyway. So I don't think any loose formation was going to happen. I don't think there's any units of Curatids. There's Can of Furs for sure, but there's no Curatid. But I'm already making a play on the right side for that zone and to have a big fight over there. I will need something on the left to contest the Fallen Divinity, but I'm also thinking, because I know he has like 2 units of Can of Furs coming on, he's got another unit of Morai coming on, he's got more Legionaries coming on, he's got Busupaloi coming on, like he's got a lot of hard hitters who are tuned to kill Mountain Jotnar and other heavies just because they're going to be having Harden, what's going to be a reduction of damage to my cleave, and they're not going to be taking resolve, so they're not going to be affected by my terrifying. So it's a really good matchup for him in retrospect. And there's a couple things I could do here in the next following turns to help myself out to win it, but I failed to do so and only saw it after the fact. All right, let's go to turn 3. Here's turn 3. Doing pretty good. We got all 4 Mountain Jotnar on the table. You can see with this guy, I just kind of move him up at the end to get him onto the zone. Score him. And we have a Seidr on the table way over here. And another Mountain Unit. He was going to fall off, so I just took him off his list. As for Will, he's doing great. He's got his other unit of Morai showing up. You know, just shoot. He kind of wheeled them off on the side of the table and moved on, spellcast, you know, got there. He's fine. And then in the back here, he's got a unit of Can of Furs. So he's going to bring on, he's got another unit of Can of Furs and Busupaloi in the bank. He's still playing very defensively, as you can see. He has no reason to move in and take that zone. I am now just scoring it, and he's had 3 turns of scoring on the left zone. So he's very much ahead. So now I am forced to make plays into him while he can just set up and receive whatever I'm doing. He's in an advantageous position because of this. So this is not that great. He's setting up his Morai here to kind of get into a flank charge with the Mountain Jotnar. I'm thinking of, I gotta drop a Seidr on the right side at some point. I dropped the Seidr and I mounted on the left side because I'm like, okay, I gotta contest this Fallen Divinity. I gotta kill the Morai. I gotta do something over here because I need to at least stall out or score that zone for a turn or two. And I'm gonna be in a really good spot, but you're gonna see turn 4 how I completely botch it and fuck that up pretty hard. But I'm also wary because he hasn't dropped his second unit of Canifers. He hasn't dropped, I think, like a Legionary unit, and he hasn't dropped, yeah, because all mediums will come up on 4. So there's like, I think there's a Legionary in reserve. I've said this before, but Legionary, Canifer, and Busebile still in reserve. So I don't know exactly where he's going, and if he's feeling pressure on the left side, that means he can move those forces on the left side to fill in, and I'm going to be in kind of a bad spot because I don't know where his stuff is, while he's kind of getting a good idea where my stuff is. I move up that Mount Jotnar to get into the zone, and then the other one's just kind of like, you know, he's just running up the table to get into position. He's just kind of dirtling around to kind of be safe. Shaman's just getting to a nice spot to try and help this. But, like, Will on the right side here, he's in a really good spot to kind of put pressure on me, and he doesn't need to commit while he's building up his Dark Power to get that Fallen Divinity all charged up before he, you know, puts Dark Power Pool into the rest of the army. So let's get into turn 4. Here's turn 4. Turn 4, I start taking fights. So I feel like I'm getting pressured. I need to start doing something, but it is a mistake. I should have waited. I should have taken my time. I should have backed off and assembled my forces more, because the Seidr and the Sea Jotnar are coming on this turn, and that means they can't attack back. So Will gets his Bucephaloi, his Canifers. Does he have another unit of Legionaries? No, I guess he does not have he does not have another unit of Legionaries. Well, that's up to him. So things that go on, you'll have to allow me to not know everything because this is over a month away. First things first, I march charge, or I think I might have just rolled the charge. Shaman, he goes first, he casts, you know, reroll my charge. I do a long bomb charge with the Mount Jotnar, get into the, the cultists, kill off 2 stands, and now the cultists are stuck in with the Mount Jotnar, what is keeping me safe from these Canifers, so he can't have the Canifers, you know, run over the Mount Jotnar and fight me. He does swing his Archimandrite and his Legionnaires to, like, pin the Mount Jotnar at the end of the turn, because what he does with that cultist unit is that he clashes, then withdraws, and he loses them with the withdrawal action, freeing them up. But, Mass, the Canifers haven't gone in yet. Well, that's okay, because the Canifers went before the cultists. So I was like, okay, sweet, I'm fine. I've stalled them out. But I'm now stuck in with these Legionaries. I do have another Mount Jotnar who can fight, but, you know, in the fact of stalling out and making plays, Will having more cards than me, he's gonna get the advantage of attacking me first. And also winning whatever is going last. Not attacking me first, but winning whatever is going last without any hindrance. So that Mount Jotnar really just moved up to score the zone and stay safe there. Seidr, I know there's going to be a massive fight over there, so I'm already just running the Seidr to, like, help out and get in. He should have probably been over on this side, might have helped him out. The other hole over there was for the Sea Jotnar, what's on the left side. Let's talk about the left side here. The left side is a misplay, and the misplay in this is that I got too aggressive on the left side to try and, like, counter the Fallen Divinity. However, Will, with his double Hierodeacon, is generating so many tokens that he's powering up much quicker than normal with one Hierodeacon. So, the Fallen Divinity kind of sits there on the edge of the zone, scoring it. There was a play here. The Raiders move up to kind of be around there to, like, side charge Morai. However, the Morai just charge into my Seidr and my Mount Jotnar who are on the zone. The Mount Jotnar has to back off 1 inch, which means I'm not scoring that zone. However, because of the Seidr's spear, I should have been contesting that zone, and Will should not have scored it. That's a mistake on my end. Once again, you know, this is like the second time I played the list, and there's been a bit of a gap between the first time and this time, so we're doing good there. But will score that zone by a Hexen, and that's like, okay, shit happens, not the end of the world. He was going to win this game anyway for what else is about to happen. I try and be cheeky with the Sea Jotnar to kind of, like, wheel in and set up like this big trap. But because Will has the card advantage, he just hits my Seidr with his Morai. He rolls incredibly well. I roll incredibly poorly. And then I roll incredibly poorly on the resolve, and I take 17 wounds out of my 20 on my Seidr. I'm like, wow, that did not do well at all. Seidr's probably gonna die. We're in a really bad spot. I need all three of these guys basically to just gang up on the Fallen Divinity to kill it. So the Fallen Divinity, now that it's pushed, like the Mount Jotnar has been pushed off by the Morai, the Seidr's tied up and living on 3 life is probably gonna die. The Fallen Divinity has free reign just to kind of charge in. I think she has to do like a march charge, but she gets stuck in with the Jotnar, and the Jotnar's like, wow, I'm gonna die now because this thing's like in my face and at tier 3. So this is a complete fuck up on the left side. Great. So what should I have done? To be honest, I should have not deployed the Jotnar over there. The Jotnar, I'll just do it in orange, should have deployed where this box is. The Mountain Jotnar and the Seidr should have backed up and just let the Fallen Divinity have that zone and bait out the Morai and trade, I'll do it in like this purple, trade this Raider unit for the Morai unit and then kill it with the Seidr and the Mountain Jotnar. And then after that trade, the Seidr, I'll just do it in, I'll do it in like this color. Should have ran over here, fought this Busepaloi unit, and tried to take this objective while the Mountain Jotnar stays behind and just plays like, hey, you have all your cards on the table, I have a Mountain Jotnar. If you come off the zone, you're not scoring it, but I'm just going to run on the zone and contest you for a turn when it's critical, after I'm done catching up on points. That's the play you make. And I didn't think far enough ahead to do it, and that's what I should have done. But the Jotnar on the right side would have helped me out into my next problem on the right here, is that his Morai teleported in charge. Luckily, these Morai rolled very poorly, and I roll very well, and I don't take any damage. But the follow-up is with these Curatids over here who are going to be moving in to fill up the slot that the Morai are going to, where the Morai are, until they die. Oh, look at that. I'll just do it in purple. There's Legionaries behind those cultists. Sweet. So there was Legionaries. There are more Legionaries. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on there. Raiders just kind of shift around. So the Fallen Divinity is getting its work done because I was stupid and didn't set that up properly and should have, and understanding how to make that trade with less stuff than I normally have and what army I'm kind of working with into the army I'm playing against. So this is just poor decision making on my point. What's going to lead to a collapse. Dice not included, because like, yeah, the Seidr took 17 wounds, what really sucks, but there was a better play I could have made to prevent that. So that's turn 4. Let's get into turn 5. Here's turn 5. Turn 5, the Canifer is going to like the Mountain Jotnar, do a bunch of damage. The Mountain Jotnar kills off the Legionaries over here. Sweet. Actually, I think what happens, this might be a little weird. I think this Mountain Jotnar, yeah, this Mountain Jotnar charges into those Legionaries. I think this guy might have blasted them as well, those Legionaries. I think Will won the roll off. Oh, Legionaries over here. I'll just do square. That was blocking that up. And then it frees him up, and then the Mountain Jotnar, fights back, kills off a stand. Busepaloi side charge the Mountain Jotnar. The Mountain Jotnar surprisingly just lives. He's just taking a ton of stuff, and with Hardened 1, he's like living through a bunch of things. Seidr fails a charge into the Busepaloi. Probably should have. Probably didn't even charge. I probably just walked up and got into range to like charge these guys. That's kind of crappy there. On the left side, Fallen Divinity and the Jotnar kind of go at each other, do a couple wounds, take a bunch of wounds. Mountain Jotnar kills off the Morai. They just kill the the Seidr, and then charge in the Mountain to keep them back. Mountain goes, fights a bunch, kills a bunch, and then the Raiders go in, fights a bunch, kills a bunch, but now it's not still on the zone because the Mountain had to spend his time killing Morai, so once again, Will scores. I will score this zone. My Mountain and Raider here leave the Morai on one stand, and the Canifers just move up to fill in the spot when the Morai die, so we can get there. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening there. With those Legionaries dead, he just charges the Legionaries into this Mountain Jotnar to kind of hold off and not let me just take over the zone or get into the Higher Deacon Cultists, because he's now, like, Fallen Divinity's turn 3, but now he's trying to power up the army with as much dark power as he can. The Higher Deacon is still generating dark power, and I'm trying to like limit those options, and also killing off a Cultist unit that's 2 cards less Will has. what means, you know, I can balance out that card advantage that he had at the start of the game. And that's kind of hopefully the goal there. However, the Legionaries are stuffing me. And that's turn 5. Let's get into turn 6. Here you go, turn 6. Seidr hits the Bucephaloi, rolls crap, does like 2 wounds, and that's it. Canifers kill my Mountain Jotnar. Oh no! Bucephaloi reform, clash into the Seidr. Oh no! Shaman just spellcast, kills off the Morai, then charges into these Legionaries to try and free them up from the Mountain. The Mountain, the Shaman just fight into Raiders. Raiders are still fine. Hierarchy and Cultists are just still being annoying as fuck. However, Canifers do get the charge into the Mountain, but they only connect on one stand, and Mountain starts beating up Canifers. On the left side, as you can see, Jotnar is dead. He died a horrible death. I think he got clashed. And then second action, charge into the Mountain to keep him backing off the zone. I run, I just march and reform and whatever, and I get 3 stands on the zone, I believe, stalling that out. But my goal here is to charge the objective, hopefully do impact attacks, do clash, and the next turn kill it to try and get up on score to kind of balance it out, because I know the score is currently ahead in Will's favor, but I'm trying to balance it out here, because if I can kill those 2 ejector markers and kill off the right side with whatever I have left, I'll be in a really good spot to still win the game. So that's kind of what I'm riding on at this point. A lot of things have not gone my way, and also like a lot of bad decision making on my end. And we're kind of in this spot. So I believe, let's go into turn 7 or 8. One of the 2. This looks like turn 7. We're going to go with that. So, Fallen Divinity kills off Mountain Jotnar. Yay, that guy's doing a great job. I've done barely any damage to the Fallen Divinity. She is scoring that zone. She's doing great. Love her. Raiders and Shaman charge into the objective, get the impact attacks, do the damage, put 2 moons on it. Alright, we can, you know, we're going to start killing that. Bucephaloi and the Seidr are still locked into Mortal Kombat. Realizing that I'm going for the objective, Will turns his 2 units of Canifers, reforms, and marches over to try and get into my Raider. My Shaman and Raiders die. I think the Legionaries and 2 shots and magic spells from the Hierarchy unit. Mount Jotnar still fucking trapped in combat with this 1 unit of Legionaries, which just refuses to die because I'm rolling kind of like 8 hits. So I'm not getting enough damage to kind of push through here, and it's just like, oh my god, this sucks. Canifers just shuffle over and then clash and do a bunch of wounds to my Mount Jotnar. My Mount Jotnar stabs the Canifers, killing off a stand. Good job there. Scoring that zone. So right now we're still not in a good spot. I still need to kill off a ton of stuff. I'm taking a lot of damage. The cultists are getting a lot of work done, even though their shooting isn't like the greatest, but damage is damage, especially in this game. And my stuff isn't holding on as well as I was hoping. So we're in a really bad spot. I think next turn is turn 8, so let's go there. Yeah, this looks like turn 8. So, I win the roll-off. I kill the ejector marker. I'll just do it in, like, purple or something right here. Hey! Then the Canifers go in, but Evasion 2 saves my life. Will kills off my Seidr. He just clashes, kills it. Yay. With the Bucephaloi making, you know, headway towards my ejector marker. Fallen Divinity just scores this thing. We're doing great over there. What else has we got here? Mount Jotnar kills off the 1 freaking stand of Legionaries. Yay. And then Canifers kill off my other Mount Jotnar and then reform. Oh, that is a terrible box. So let's do this. And line through it. There. They just reform because they're looking to charge on the side of the Mount Jotnar. I back up my Mount Jotnar. So I killed off the Legionaries, and I could have like charged into the cultists and killed them. And if I did that, then the Canifers are coming into my back. I have like a couple wounds left. You can kind of see it here. I'm already got double stack. So one of those is 10 and it looks like a 4 right there. So I'm at 4 health left. And if I get charged in the back by Canifers, I'm dead for sure. And then I'm not scoring at all. So the move I make here, I'll do it in black, is I move back. And it blocks. They don't have line of sight to me. So I'm kind of hoping, okay, I can score that zone 1 more turn. But Will runs up a bunch of cultists so that he can contest me. And I don't score that because he's realizing I'm trying to creep up on score. And he's like, no, I can't let that happen. And he's looking to secure the win. So let's go into, I believe, turn 9. Here we go. As you can see, Raiders and Shaman doing really well into the Canifers. It's, down to 1 stand, has a couple wounds left, but it's fine. Bucephaloi, kill off the ejector marker, and this kind of seals my fate. And then the Canifers and, the Mountain Jotnar charges into the cultist, kills it, and then the Canifers charge the Mountain Jotnar, kill it. And at that point, Will is double scoring, and I call the game there. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. We don't have to play out the last turn. And that's it. So, big takeaways from here. I'll just do the score. 14 to 26. So big takeaways here, misdeployment. I overcommitted to this to one side and then also didn't set myself up properly to handle the threats. I should have put more work into the side that was away from the Fallen Divinity and put just enough on the side that had the Fallen Divinity to make sure that it was kept honest. So it's on that zone, it's stuck on that zone. Everything else around it is dead, so it's not allowed to escape that zone, kind of thing. Will could have put that Fallen Divinity with the rest of his army, like where those Legionaries with the Archimandrite were sitting, and that would have been a really devastating push. But he then gets into the other part of like, do I get engaged with enough stuff that he's kind of trapped behind his own things and I'm on the zone, and then I win the other side, and then I try and stall out as long as possible, and that's kind of how you want to win that fight. So putting it by itself, it secures that one zone for him, but it does leave itself open to then being contested at some point, and also now I just know it's over there, so I can ignore it. Off balance is really great for our Old Dominion Fallen Divinity list, simply because it just kind of takes over one of the two zones by itself, and it's really hard to dislodge unless you have the tools available. Like if I had a unit of Bow Chosen, I'd have sat there and just hammered it with shots over and over and over and over and over again until it died. Even at tier 3, I'd be like, I'd just be hunting. That'd be a really good thing, but I did not have those tools to do that type of strategy. So, lost that game. That's how you not play 7 Jotnar. Let's go into my third round where we do play 7 Jotnar. Okay, so here is round 3. Once again, we're skipping round 2 simply because my opponent did not wish to have it on the internet, and I totally agreed. And that's a-okay. So I'm playing into a fellow Nords player, a gentleman named James. Him and I have chatted a bunch before. He was excited to get a game in. I wanted to get a game in with him simply because him and I have not played before, and he's enjoyed Nords, and we wanted to talk to someone who's played a bunch of Nords, and mostly he's just like, let's get a Nords game in. So he is playing. He's got a dip. He's playing kind of what's like Nord soup, where you kind of just grab a bunch of stuff, and usually if you grab double of a bunch of good things, you'll be in a really good spot with Nords. I don't remember 100% his list. I just know that it has a big block of Werewolves, as you can see with the Warlord, and then an MSU of Werewolves. This is Forlorn Hope? This is not Forlorn Hope. This is Echelon. Yeah, this is Echelon by the looks of it. There should be another ejector marker back here. Someone can tell me what this ejector or scenario is, because I've completely forgotten. I could look it up. Let's see here. Can I find it really quick? Oh, it doesn't say. Goddamn. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we got our 2 zones. We got our obstruction. We got our Squidward house in the middle, because we're doing great here. We got our double forests. Water. The whole terrain piece is water. Hill. Swamp. They might both be swamp. I don't know. And then we got that field. So no hindering, but obscuring and like. So far good there. This match, if you're interested in 7 Jotnar, this is kind of what you do when you don't roll well. Because one of the things with playing a bunch of Jotnar is there's not a ton of flank. A more up-to-date version of this list is that you play 5 Mountain Jotnars, 2 Seidrs, and the rest of the list is just like Fenrir Beast Pack, so that you have flanks, so you're guaranteeing on like 4 cards turn 2, you have no lights. You guarantee 4 cards turn 2, plus whatever you roll, and you have more mediums. And you also have less heavy, so your reinforcement curve is more condensed to get hopefully more stuff out by turn 4, what you want. So right, I got one. I didn't roll my other Shaman and Raiders in. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go as far forward as possible. Werewolf auto in. Werewolf and Warlord has flanks, so they're auto in. He's already making a mad dash, I think, to my ejector marker and into me. Werewolves are very speedy. They got regen. Raiders and a Shaman's probably not going to do enough damage, especially into the big block. The little block I might be able to break and then, kill out if I win a Supremacy. The big block, it's probably. So Little block is just kind of run forward, looking to kill that ejector marker and, you know, harass me, get in the zones kind of. I'm just running up as far forward as possible. I can back off. So when you don't have a lot of stuff and your opponent has more than you, you can kind of run forward, check their maximum threat, and then as they push forward and get more aggressive with you, you back off to try and drag them out. And what you're going to see me do here over the course of the game is that I'm going to try and separate his forces so he comes at me in piecemeal as my stuff shows up, and then also can attack him the next turn. And it'll be more condensed and more on my side of the table. I'll just do a line like so. I'll kill a bunch of his stuff piecemeal, and then I'll push out from there once I've kind of stabilized and turned that balance of power back into my favor. So yeah, that's turn 1. Let's get into turn 2. Here's turn 2. As you can see, doing just as well. We got 1 Mountain Jotnar, and oh look, the other Shaman Raiders showed up. That's fucking great. Cool. As for my opponent, he's got his Fender Beast back. They had flank. They're speeding up the table. Blooded and Trolls. What else we got here? And he has his own Mountain Jotnar. I think he's running Mountain Jotnar and a Seidr and a Sea Jotnar and then all this other stuff. And then Uger. Like we just got a bunch of stuff. So Uger, I gotta be careful of. They're gonna get shocked. They're gonna have Oblivious. They're gonna have Dread. They're gonna, every time I hit them though with a Mountain Jotnar, they're gonna take a wound. They're not gonna take as many wounds from the resolve, but like impacts, and just clashes is gonna kill them good enough that it'll be fine. Even with what is it, Dread? I should, like, every hit's gonna be a kill or a wound. Damage, fuck it. So yeah, he's got a lot more stuff than me. I still have to play KG. So things I realize right off the bat is he's making a play for my ejector mark. Okay, cool. So I decide, you know what? It's not that far up from my raiders to that ejector marker. I'm going to charge my raiders in, do an impact damage, do a clash, do 2 damage, and then I can take that ejective marker next turn. If he decides to charge me from this position, again, with his werewolves, like he moves them up. He doesn't get super aggressive, but he moves them up. My Mountain Jotnar is in a position that I can see his werewolves if he decides to go for my ejector marker. Or if the ejector marker's dead, if he decides to go for the raiders. And that's what that, and it's also within the 8 inches of the auto charge for the Mountain Jotnar. Werewolves getting side charged by a Mountain Jotnar is not going to be very good. They're saving on 2s, what is fine, that's normal werewolf save, but the terrifying and the rerolled morale. Then getting a Mountain Jotnar in the flank is just going to start ripping them through, and I should be able to kill that and clear that up pretty nicely. And as you see, especially if they go for it, it's going to be a pretty far overcommit compared to the rest of the army. He won't have a follow-up to counter whatever I'm going to hit with. What's going to allow me to have time to kind of swing out. So I'm already setting that up. On the right side, the other Shaman Raider unit, I just need to kind of like play with this zone. I just need to kind of be there. I'm not getting super aggressive. I'm just around to make sure that zone is contested by me. I'll get something over there to score it at some point. But my opponent decides to go for the ejector marker, puts 2 damage on it. He'll kill it next turn and then move through. So yeah, that's really fun there. His Mountain Jotnar, to be honest, I think could be, I'll just do it in purple, like more committed to one side. He's kind of doing the split thing, but he doesn't really see me deploying too hard either way right now because I just have terrible dice rolls for my reinforcement, and I'm just kind of making do. Like you can see him, he's trying to move forward, and I'm really just kind of fighting along that line right there, making him come to me. You'll see that more in the next turn. So yeah, I feel like his Mountain Jotnar should have committed to his side more so that it could basically just beeline down one flank and be relevant faster. All right, let's get into turn 3. So here's turn 3, and as you can see, we are doing what I said we're going to do. We're going to still fight on this line. I'm still back here. James here has moved up. He's got, oh my god, he's got more Jotnars. Where the fuck is he getting all these Jotnar from? He's got his Seidr, his C, and another Mountain Jotnar. And this guy who's still around. So it's kind of a Jotnar off at this point, but I have more. I kill my objective. So first things first, I'm a realist. Do it in black. Ejector marker. I kill it. Yay. And then I back up. Yay. This Then the werewolves go. He just kind of like positions them in a way where he's like, he doesn't take the bait to go in deeper, but he kind of just reforms and holds off. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He then moves the what is it? Blooded and Trolls into the zone to score it. All right, cool job. Another way to score that, especially turn 2, is he could have just like, I'll just do it here. He could have just ran his Fenner into it. Instead, he's trying to use his Fenner as a flanker. That's fine, but one of the big key features of the Fenner is that they are the best objective score that Nords has. They're cheap, they're fast, they're getting their turn 2 no matter what. That's the guys who should have been over there. I think the Fenner and the Blooded should have been swapped. These Blooded, in this position, going down the table, if you just rotate them a bit, so like here, so they can kind of side charge if I go into the zone, or if I do hit them with something, Rouge, if I do hit them, let's say with a Seidr, and then I'll do it in yellow, the werewolves could hit whatever hits them in the side, kind of thing. Like, you know, overlap your threats, and I kind of explained this to James here, like, kind of what you're looking for, but he does put the blood on the zone. With the trolls, that's fine, you know, they're kind of tanky, but one of the big things with the blooded and trolls is that they are attrition based. They're a tar pit. You kind of want to use them for that kind of thing, and they would be better not behind the werewolves, better in the Fenner position. The Fenner would be better behind there, scoring that zone for the rest of the game. With that, I do run my Seidr, one of my 2 Seidrs up the table. He's going to start making a play for that side. This Mountain Jotnar, he just kind of moves into position to get into the werewolves. To counter that, this other Mountain Jotnar looks to try and get to, you know, fight my Mountain Jotnar first. That's fine. Over here, werewolves kill the objective and then move up. Uger follow right behind. He's doing a double push. He's expecting to get the werewolves hit, die, Uger go in, fight, you know, Mountain Jotnar or Seidr. I deploy pretty concentrated in the middle here with this other Mountain Jotnar. I'm going to do him in orange, this guy. He's very much a flex piece. Do I need him to go left to help out that Jotnar? Do I need him to go right to help out the Seidr? The Seidr, he's on the zone there. He's going to score that. The Raiders and Shaman, I just spread out because I'm looking to kind of counterattack and take up more space. I have currently no use for this side of the table. I have 2 more Mountain Jotnars coming onto the table. One of them, I'll do it in like Rouge. Probably be coming over here. I'll probably have one coming over here, and that's kind of how I'm spread. And then, you know, the Jotnar, he's going to fill up a spot wherever I need to do some damage. Probably most likely into those Jotnars. He's making a big play for his Jotnars to kind of, like, especially 2 of them to come over here and following up the werewolves and the Uger. Because I think at this point it's not enough for what I have there. Like, that side is firmly contested and in my favor. What I'm fine with. So, you know, he's bringing those stuff over there. The Jotnar I actually think is in a good spot. The problem is that it's in water, so it's going to be affected by the... I think that's... We used all water with swamp, so it's going to be hindering, and it's going to be -1 clash. Especially if he gets stuck fighting in there. And I'll just do it in black here. This gap right here looks like he's going to be stuck fighting in the water, weirdly enough. So yeah, that's what's coming over there. Lastly, his Fenner... He's just looking to get side charges, to be honest. I just need to engage them and either get hit in the front, because they're Clash 2, Clash 3, I don't really think they're going to do enough damage. Or if I get to them first, I can hopefully kill off a stand and then just kind of bludgeon them to death. But yeah, I'm still playing on my side of the table, trying to draw out threats. James isn't super taking the bait, but I am putting more and more pressure on him as more of my stuff comes out. So it's going to turn 4. Here's turn 4. Yay! So, yeah, I will bring on my other 2 Jotnar, as you can see, and my Jotnar. So, good things happen. His entire list is on the table, so I know where his entire deployment is. That's good. First thing I do is I have my Mountain Jotnar charge into his werewolves. Mountain Jotnar does a phenomenal job with the werewolves, kills off a bunch of them. And then I think the Shaman just spell casts, clips the Vogni Lord, kills off the last stand of werewolves. They break, shatter, and run away. I'm like, okay, sweet, we're doing good. However, the Blooded and Trolls charge in, do a bunch of damage to my Mount Jotnar. Harden 1 does a lot of good work. It's not on the zone though, so I'm not fearless. That's gonna suck when the Jotnar march charges in. So we do a Jotnar march charge, throws an anvil at him, gets the reroll, not an anvil, an anchor, does a bunch of damage, but he's still hanging out there. He's doing really good. Because the Jotnar is now in the way of this Mountain Jotnar, I'll just purple. James decides to charge my raiders, who I reform to kind of like contest his Mountain Jotnar and get around mine, because I need to get around this corner. So I just kind of do a reform and move around, check the distance, make sure I'm in. But that does allow his Mount Jotnar to charge into me. I think he does a march charge because he's got to roll like a 4 or 5 or something, but just takes the march charge instead just to make it secure. I make the saves against the impact. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good. And then I drop my Jotnar at the end of the turn right here so I can side charge this Mount Jotnar and setting that up. Hopefully, and then at that point, hopefully the Raiders can fill the slot of the dead Mount Jotnar who's fighting the 2C and the Trolls. But I do have something to deal with the Trolls. I'm going to reinforce my other two, my Seidr and my Mountain on the left side. He, however, trying to stop that, sends in... I move up my Mountain to kind of cover the flank of my Seidr. The Fenner go in, don't really do a ton of damage. The Seidr, who is here, charges the Fenner, kills one on the impacts. Now I'm no longer in contact, so I just march again to get into the way of the Trolls. That Mount Jotnar, he's fine killing off dogs. He'll be fine. Seidr can go help with the Trolls. It's a much more important battle. Once the Mount Jotnar is done with those dogs, he can reform and get into the rest of it to fill any holes that are happening. But as you can see, I got a good silhouette of different Jotnar here to help out and deal with. And because I've been killing stuff effectively, and I feel like I'm in a good spot for trades, I don't need to commit as many things to that side. So as you can see on the right side, I charge in my Mount Jotnar into the werewolves who had moved up. I kill off the werewolves with the Mount Jotnar. The Ogre then come back and counterattack and do a bunch of damage to that Mount Jotnar. However, I do run my Seidr into the zone to just take it up and score it all. I drop this Mountain Jotnar over here. He's just to provide the flank, for a Mountain Jotnar off. We'll do it in green, yellow. We'll do it in yellow. Mountain Jotnar off. Woo! We'll get rid of that. But weirdly enough, I am actually I need a 3 or something to get my Raider unit. That was Rouge over here. Into this Mountain Jotnar. I roll it. I do a bunch of damage. I cast Horfrost. I might have even cast reroll charges for the... Probably reroll charges. Yeah, that looks like the reroll charge token. For the Mount Jotnar to get into the werewolves. But we go in, do a bunch of damage with the rerolls of Flurry, and the Mount Jotnar is in a kind of a bad spot. So I'm like, cool, I'll take it. This is awesome. Sweet. And I'm in a really good spot. So scoring this, my James is scoring that, what's fine. I've killed my objective, he's killed his objective, but I have killed a Vogni Lord and both werewolves. So now I've stabilized and now I'm kind of up on cards. I need to go kill his various Jotnar. They're in various states of damage. Like the one on this side I'll do in black. He's probably dead. I'm not too worried about him. I'm probably losing my Mountain Jotnar to the Ogre, but I have my Seidr who can follow up and fill that. This Mountain Jotnar way over here on the right, he can just kind of trundle across the entirety of the table, filling any holes and just picking up as I kind of use him as a windshield wiper. And the left side I feel very confident on. He's kind of playing his stuff like he's in trouble. He had the positioning to kind of take his time, but like what I said, I'm going to play on kind of my side of the table, and I'm going to push out once I hit those forces, and I'm going to try and pull him out of position. And as you can see in a lot of spots, he is pulled out of position. He doesn't have something to overlap and protect his flanks or hit or counter hit when things die. There's a lot of crossing of killing fields and overlapping for peace trading, while I found my opponent didn't really have a ton of that. So it puts me in an advantage that if I hit him and kill something and he hits me back, I have a follow-up. He doesn't really have that. So yeah, let's get into turn 5. Here's turn 5. Good things happen. Let's start with, I don't know. Let's start with this guy. So, Mountain Jotnar. I think James here won the roll-off. He Mount Jotnar, smacks my Raiders. My Raiders with Tenacious and Evasion live. Yay! Jotnar goes, does a ton of damage. Doesn't kill him. This is very bad. Does not kill him. I was kind of annoyed. Dice rolls are dice rolls. He then goes, I think his Jotnar kills my Mountain Jotnar. Yay. That frees up the Blooded and Trolls to charge my Seidr, because I think my next card is another Mountain Jotnar. So I have this Mountain Jotnar. Do a bunch of damage to the Ugr. The Ugr fight back, kill off my Mountain Jotnar. My Seidr, at the end of the turn, like, charges in and kills off the Ugr. However, that puts his Seidr in a rough position because the Ugr are in the way. Okay. Then I have a bunch of Mountain Jotnar going, so this Mountain Jotnar, he kills off the doggies. Goodbye, doggies. I just Inspire Clash because I'm in the water. Oh yeah, there's water there. So, like, those dogs were doing very well. But now he can follow up on the next turn and go for Blooded and Trolls. He's within range, he's in auto charge, so that's fine there. The Raiders and Shaman kill off the Mountain Jotnar here, so that frees that up for the Jotnar to fight the other Jotnar. Shaman and Raiders to kind of help out and just push through on that side. He's got 2 units to my 1, 2, 3, 4, plus a character, so we're in a really good spot there. He is going to score this, but that's a-okay. I'm still scoring that zone. His Mountain Jotnar over here rolls really well for an attack, but then I roll really well for defenses, and then because I did a bunch of damage already, the Raiders and Shaman just Inspire Clash, and I cast Hoarfrost, and it dies, and I'm like, alright, that's cool. Then that leaves this Mountain Jotnar who just kind of runs around to start going across the table, because he's really just had no job, to be honest, this entire game. He's just in a rough spot. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing there. Overall, we're in a good spot. We've kind of handled the majority of the threats. Last things that are happening here is this Seidr is looking to get a side charge into my Seidr. Hopefully trying to get on the zone, but Squidward's house might block that. We'll never know because I can slightly see him, and that's all that matters. But yeah, let's get into turn probably 6. Here's turn 6. So we got a bunch of cleanup. Jotnar into Jotnar. I win that fight. Cool. I think I just toe the zone, so we're doing good there. Blooded and Trolls into my Seidr. Cool. Seidr and Mountain Jotnar, as you can see, kill off Blooded and Trolls. We're good there. They can just swing across the table. My Seidr gets the charge into his Seidr. I do a bunch of damage, but now he's locked in, and now we're kind of fighting. My Raider and Shaman unit reforms and kind of marches over. Hoarfrost the Seidr, but they're going to get it for a side charge. Same thing with this. They just kind of wander up and go in for a Hoarfrost, do some more damage, but looking to get a side charge. And then I just reform and march the Mountain Jotnar onto the zone so he can score. So now we're scoring 2 zones. We're in a really good spot. And I think turn 7 is the last turn because my opponent only has 1 thing left, and then I'm going to kill Seidr. So yeah, there we go. Let's see here. Shaman Raiders, and the other Seidr just goes in, kills it, and I score. That's it. That's game. So yeah, that's kind of how you play Monster Mash when you just have bad reinforcement rolls. You just kind of play on your back on the table, concentrate your force, try and pull your opponent out by like making baits, seeing if they'll take it, and then hitting back and layering your threats to peace trade appropriately. And you'll do well. So yeah, let's go watch the last slide. What's the score? Whoa, there we go. 44-9. You'll probably see it after this. I'll just talk about it. The whole event in total was pretty great. And Skill and I went down. We drove, stayed at the TO's place. It was really nice. Encountered Giants Shadow the Hedgehog, 1-to-1 scale Shadow the Hedgehog, what is still living rent-free in my nightmares. Jeez, that thing is so big. It's basically, its head is like the size of my body. It was wild. I came 3rd, so I did pretty good. 2 wins and 1 loss. Will's a great opponent. James was a great opponent. My round 2, who I'm not really going to deep dive or talk about. Oh, this is Echelon. Oh, look at that. Also, another fantastic opponent. they just didn't really want to have their stuff on the internet. I was like, hey, okay with that. So yeah, did pretty good there. Monster Mash, especially Nords Monster Mash. 7 Jotnar is probably a little too much. You probably want to focus on more mountain Jotnar, just because of what they're doing. They're just durable enough. They're point efficient enough. They're offensive enough that they just do pretty good. If you are going to try and run a Jotnar list, the Jotnar is a lot of good damage, but you're probably going to be dropping down from 7 to like 6 and looking to run a Warlord with double Fenner Beastback, because you need to score turn 2. Like, one of the issues with Monster Mash is that, and especially Nords Monster Mash, is that it does not have the same amount of activations and the same amount of like stalling, and also being able to kind of like have extra bonuses like other factions Monster Mash-esque lists have to make up for that. So like Uroni has the double spell casting on spiders, what make up for it, and the ideals of the fluidity of when they want to choose stuff, as just how Uroni play. City States has a bunch of spell casting on all their stuff, but provides buffs and sufficient damage on a lot of their things, so they do very well there. And they can, grab some like chariots if they need to for scoring and range support. What else do we have? With Droon, kind of Monster Mash, like with spamming Quaddles and Winglords, and then taking some Thunder Riders with the Thunder Chieftain for shock, has a large output of damage, as well as having free shooting on all their Quaddles while also being fast. So they kind of, even though if they show up later, they impact more earlier, because they're going to rock up 18 inches, they're going to get a free shot, and now they're already like threatening you and contesting you and putting pressure on you and setting themselves up for success. While Nords Monster Mash, you kind of have to get all your stuff on the table and then, deploy outward from there. What is simply just kind of like, it's just too slow. It's too much of a loss in tempo. And that's kind of what I found with like the 4 games I played with it, is that you lose too much tempo with Nords Monster Mash. It's fun. You got some great choices, but it's such a loss of tempo, and you're playing a little down on cards that I'm not excited for, because I think, what is it here? I'll just build this list in my phone real quick. It's literally just off the top of my head. Nords, blah, blah, blah. There's the name. Go to war. Seidr, we'll give him a spear. It's good. You can give him axe. I'm not really going to get into that. Okay, so anyway. Double Seidr, double Mountain, and then you do a Warlord, who is the Warlord, because he has to be. He's already got flank on everything, and then you're going to grab Fenner, and then another Mountain Jotnar, and there's like 1970, so you're going to grab what, like Figurehead of the Narfalgar, or like a 30-point upgrade, like the Redbringer for more attacks and Cleave 2. Like, that's fine, but yeah. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the card count. You are 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 6. You're 10 cards, so you're 1 card less than what I'm currently running. But you score turn 2, and you're guaranteed 4 cards on turn 2. So like there's pluses and minuses. I myself personally, having a 10-card deck, I don't think is enough. I know the priority roll has changed now. Whoever has the lowest will get the bonus. But still, it's a +1, -1. There's been plenty of times where I've rolled like 6s back to back to back to back, and my opponent's rolled like a 4 or a 3 or a 2, or whatever. And it's just like, this isn't helping. I'm still, even though I have the advantage, doesn't mean I'm always gonna win or it's gonna be consistent kind of thing. It still kind of sucks. And so having the extra cards, so that even if you did lose, because you had more cards than your opponent, it just means you're uncontested of what the last activation is, what means you can just hit someone for free, do a bunch of damage, and then, start that work kind of thing. Like, they always know you're going to have the last hit, what means something can die. So, yeah. Would I recommend Nords Monster Mash? Yeah, I'd recommend this list. I would also recommend, like, a Jotnar style list, have some fun with it. Do I think it's going to win a big event? No. I think there's too many weaknesses with, specifically the Nords one. I think other Monster Mashes are better, like Wadroon and Uroni, I think, are better. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys all had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. I hope you got to see more Monster Mash. Like and subscribe on the YouTube. Check out the Bonk Table Podcast on wherever you find podcasts. Join the Bonk Table Discord in the description below. Yeah, that's about it. Everyone have a great day. Bye!